Discretion is advised.
Happy Monday, you're listening and or watching Pwnecast. This is episode 183. We are in patch 7.3. Tonight we're going to be talking about all the important news from around Azeroth and beyond, perhaps, maybe, question mark. We're going to be talking about our expansion wish lists tonight, guys. Super important on the heels of Blizzcon coming next week. We've got some lore from Rem, which is pretty interesting. Because, you know, Rem's lore is like Crack, right? This is the house that Crack built. Just kidding. If you haven't read that book to your children, then you're doing it wrong. And we have 2 virtual tickets to give away this episode. So get hype. We have that and much, much more. So make sure you guys stay right here.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Amongst the Azeroth elite, there is a group that defies convention. A group that stands in the face of trolls and doesn't flinch. A group that strives on unity, trust, and unwavering resolve. A group that eats tacos. For the players, by the players, we bring you. She can start a revolt with a Chaos Bolt, Belle, the Pwnecast Vanguard. Snap back and get faster for the pet battle Grandmaster, JimmaBanks. He's sharp as a dagger with that dapper swagger, Secret Sauce. With holy might as strong as his ancient knowledge, Remedies, the Argent Loremaster. We bow to no one. We are Legion. We are Pwnecast.
Welcome back. I don't want to unmute them right now because they're entirely too happy during this whole like montage of intro that was going on right now. So I feel like, but I'm going to unmute them because I really want to know what they're talking about and why JimmaBanks, the famous guys, the very famous JimmaBanks is dancing. What?
We're just happy for the show.
You're happy because it's Pwnecast Day?
It's Pwnecast Day, show day.
It's like the greatest.
Jim, I'll give you $1. Do it.
I got $1. I got $1. I got $1. Hey, American dollar?
Yeah, that's like 20 Canadian.
$1.30.
Guys, I don't know if anybody's aware, but we have a week till BlizzCon.
I'm aware.
I squirreled so hard doing prep for the show that Rem had to keep me on task because there was other stuff. Like all of a sudden we needed 17 vases, containers to hold fucking glow sticks. Guys, it's crunch time. I am going to get increasingly weird. Next week's episode is going to be really fun because I'm going to be super weird. It's that time.
You should drink for it.
I know. You're right. I probably should. But it's that time where I've got BlizzCon brain and I'm completely just saying weird and random shit. So
for what it's worth, those glow sticks and those vases look beautiful at the party.
They really did. I thought it was a nice ambiance.
Mm-hmm.
We're really getting fancy. Rem, we're getting fancy with our pronunciations here. I feel like it's a good thing. Guys, thank you for being here with me every week. I love you both equally.
I love you too. There, I said it on the show.
You publicly said that you loved me. This is serious. This is a serious moment in our relationship, Jimma. Like, it's serious.
I have problems with emotions, people listening. So
well,
you know.
Jimma, you're my favorite of all the cast members.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
You're my favorite.
I am?
Yeah.
But Rem's also my favorite.
I'm the black sheep. I can't.
He's 1A, I'm 1B. It's okay.
Yes, you guys share the same equal spot in my heart. I'm pretty sure I spelled this wrong in the intro, but I did bring the monk who spent all this week mooching free pets from show listeners. Jimma the Mooch, guys. That's his new name.
I finally figured it out, and being on the show paid off. You just have to ask the community to come together and give you stuff, and they'll feel sorry for you, and they will. Last segment on last week's show, I just kind of mentioned I was thinking of buying pets, and I didn't, and asked for them, and I got gifted. I'll tell you more in the segment, but I'll talk about it a little bit. Yeah.
So I see you're using your position for
That's how corruption starts.
That is how corruption starts.
It's good and not evil. And even though they refused, I also traded a pet in. Well, one of them, I gave them pets in return, even though they said no.
Look at you being a good.
Oh, so you gave a reach round.
I was gonna say a good American, but you're not American, so.
God bless.
It's got super awkward really quickly. I did also bring the priest who put here that he's not alcoholic, but he's completely an alcoholic. He spent his week filling up his car with booze for BlizzCon. Rem, explain yourself.
Well, I had to get booze for a whole week of BlizzCon, so I have this box full of rum, tequila, vodka, you name it. And this guy looks at me in front of me in the line. He's like, "Oh, you having a party?" It's like, "Nah, these are just for the weekend."
Just for the weekend.
He gives me the weirdest look, like, "Oh god, he's just."
You have rum. We could be pirates.
Arr.
I told you guys last week.
pirate
What did I
free.
want to see? I want to see boats, and I want to have a Buccaneers hat, and I want to be a fucking pirate in the next expansion. Like, I'm pretty sure. Well, maybe I said it in the method video.
it.
I know that I said it online.
I think
somewhere.
you should walk around BlizzCon with a pirate hat on now.
I think I should walk around with a pimp cane and see if I can make some additional monies off other people willing to make additional monies. Let's go together, guys. Let's organize.
Think
Totally.
things into existence. I like what you did there.
You know, if I wasn't a nerd, right, or a web developer or any of those things, my next chosen profession would have been a Hollywood madam. And I know that that's going to sound really weird, and it's super not gamer related, but if I feel like World of Warcraft saved my life, because had I not have found that, I would have went after my dream of being a Hollywood madam.
I think you could still do both. Maybe don't.
Well,
No?
I mean, maybe, but you should know that there's a movie that's my inspiration. It's The Rise and Fall of Heidi Fleiss. It's called Call Me. But shout out to anyone who's ever watched that movie. Super not gaming related, but I just thought you guys should know what my true calling in life would be, and I would have made an excellent Hollywood madam, guys.
I think so too.
Hollywood madams don't actually do the sleeping around, FYI. They just make money.
They're classy guys. Get your mind out of
we
the
make
gutter.
money off the world's bread and butter, which is booty, right? Booty is even in game, guys. I want to tell you guys a story before we go any further. And so I needed a WoW character that just had the underwear on, right? There was a reason. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't for anything weird.
No.
It was for something. I feel like I don't remember what it was.
Educational purposes.
I felt like maybe I was going to make a funny meme or GIF. I'm not really sure what I was going to do with it. So I Google naked World of Warcraft character.
Oh yeah, you saw crazy stuff, right?
Guys, I saw more than just naked. I
Okay.
realized there's a whole underground world of
Yeah.
porn related to
Right.
World of Warcraft.
Right?
Now,
Rule
guys,
34.
I'm super prude. I don't know much about the porn world. Like, I'm super not about that life. I was raised that it's inappropriate to watch two people doing things, or three people for that matter. Like,
Whatever you're into. Right?
yeah, whatever number you're into for your parties. But I saw things happening between two WoW characters that was very deeply
Right, I know the
disturbing.
pictures you saw too.
Yeah, one of them was a Draenei, and I
Yeah.
can't take it
Worgen
back.
too?
Yeah,
Worgen too?
yes, and I can't take it back. Like, these were very intense pictures. Just Google
Can I add to
World
that a
of
little
Warcraft
bit?
characters naked, and just
Uh-huh.
it's just so like that one time I was doing something for Rem. He was his naked gnome race, and I was Googling.
Oh, that got weird really fucking quick.
I had I started my search with the word naked because I was again trying to find a semi-nude model without having to use the model viewer. And later on throughout the day, I needed to Google something Disney related. I forgot that I had naked there, so I put Disney in there.
Rule
You're
34, Belle.
Let's just say Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is a whole new meaning for me.
That's so funny.
So what were you
Getting
gonna say,
really
Jim?
weird.
I
Well, I
feel
was
like
just gonna say, before when I was looking for other Warcraft friends, I made a Facebook profile for my character, and this lady all of a sudden added me, and it was all those dirty pictures, right? So I had seen them in my feed and on her profile pics, and then I started dating a girl who was like trying to show interest in my life, and she Googled Warcraft porn and then looked at me and she's like, "This is what you're into?" And I was like, "No." And she was just really weird, but I saw those same images and That's my little.
Yeah, I'll
story.
never be the same again. Like some
Right?
things you should never taint. I'm going to use the word taint because I feel like it has I feel like it has double meanings there,
Pun
guys, with the
intended.
super bad puns. But yeah, so just be very careful in your googling because the you Googleizer machine has a twisted sense of humor. I can't think of what I was googling that even happened.
Yeah, I don't think you could say anything to save yourself on what you were googling.
Also, I was googling because we put a dog run in because my dogs have been eating the shrubberies
Oh,
in the
God.
backyard. So I
Right.
Google dogs ate my bushes.
Oh no!
Just guys, things were just really. It was really my googling this week has not been on
Stay
point.
off the internet.
I
Okay?
know, it's
That's
really
what
bad.
happens at FurryCons.
Weird. So let's talk about World of Warcraft things. So the Arena Skirmish bonus event is up this week. So make sure you go get your wins, do the cha-cha, get your things. The Hallows Eve, Hallows End, Halloween, Day of the Dead, whatever it is you choose to celebrate, that's going on in game right now. So,
Day of the Dead is later.
oh,
Yeah, it's like an individual dead, but we know what you meant. You meant
That's right
like
before BlizzCon.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
same month then,
right. Mm.
kind of.
No.
Think
Question
so.
mark.
Hey, thanks for bringing up the Day of the Dead, though. I'll be able to talk about something on my segment now.
Ooh. So go run your Headless Horseman mount runs, but I want to talk about that. So over the weekend, there was a series of tweets on Twitter where people were trying to confirm the Headless Horseman reigns can only be obtained from the Epic Quality box. So your blue, which is the rare loot stuffed pumpkin, will not contain it. Only the Epic Purple loot filled pumpkin will drop that. Only level 98 and above is eligible to get that loot, that pumpkin. So
Was it 98 or 100?
it was 98. I did confirm in a
Okay.
blue. I went to the original forum post and there was a blue post from a dev that said it's at level 98. Now, the funny thing is guys, I don't think this is new. I feel like this was always a thing and nobody noticed. I'm going to be really, really honest. I feel like it was always a thing that
That's
it was
how
like,
it's always been. You have to be within a certain range.
yeah, I
of-
think there was a level range always, and I think it's just now that people are starting to question it. Like, obviously, it couldn't have been level 98 when it first came out because level 98 didn't exist, but I do think it is within level range. I don't know what that looks like. I'm not a developer, but other people on the forum post had said this has always been a thing. This isn't news. So if you've been running on all your under 98 alts, I apologize because you got sticky treats and wands and masks and whatever
Hey,
other
the wands are fun. Okay.
whatever other weird stuff. So just be aware, 98 and above, guys. And the 98 is confirmed. This is not wrong information. This is right information because I did confirm by a blue dev
This
on
is
the
not
forums.
fake news.
Yeah, this is not fake news. So
A
good.
Blue Devil?
Now, also we had talked about the BattleNet beta was available for the social changes and all the new fun whoop-de-doo integrations. That's now live across BattleNet. So if you were one of the people that didn't care to opt in for beta or weren't utilizing beta, it's now live. So I'm sure you've probably noticed that your launcher looks super weird, but go in there and make your Discord groups, your BattleNet groups, and make friends and do things, rename them, have avatars, be social. Guys, do things together.
Be social?
Yeah, social, that thing you do when you, are not by yourself. I don't know what that means either because I'm not super social.
Yeah.
but- Yeah.
I'm a little lost.
Also, in case you guys weren't aware, the 7.3.2 patch has been available in the background to download. This does coincide with a November 7th release for the patch. I don't know if that necessarily means the raid will be open November 7th. There was a good point that was brought up earlier. I don't remember who I was conversing with in regards to that, but I was talking to somebody. I feel like it was Cashbringer. We were talking about that. He did make note that with BlizzCon being right there, that it would be really weird if they released the raid the 7th, because what if people aren't back from their travels to BlizzCon, especially the Mythic raid teams?
Yeah.
So we're not 100% sure. I still feel like it's going to, the patch is going to hit the 7th, and then maybe the raid will open the 14th. I'm not really 100% sure either way, but it is in those general areas, so get some. Know what I'm
Right?
saying? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You're awfully red, Jimma. You're super
I know it's too
Kool-Aid
much
man right
red.
now.
I agree.
Yeah, you're super Kool-Aid man right now, but I'm digging the vibe. It's not
Oh
it's not
yeah.
terrible.
There, I couldn't think of what he said. Thanks, Ron.
New World of Warcraft novel was not ready to be announced, but I think Amazon or somebody leaked it. I'm not really sure how that came about because I didn't really follow the thread closely. New World of Warcraft novel by Christy Golden, which we talked about a few weeks ago that she's officially Team Blizzard, like she works for Blizzard. She has a book coming out that they're going to talk about in detail at BlizzCon called Before the Storm. And basically this is going to focus on what happens after the Shadows of Argus. So in the wake of what we're dealing with the Legion, we're going to see that storyline develop, which I'm assuming will also be a prelude to the next expansion, which is exciting to see that those are correlating with each other. And I don't know if that like was Blizzard's design or intention to have those things correlate with each other. What do you guys think?
Rem.
I caught them both not paying attention, and it's why I said
I was
that on purpose.
researching
I looked at both of them and saw that they were not paying attention, and that's exactly why I asked.
Got us. I'm looking at the Day of the Dead stuff.
Yeah, we should be focused, though, on what we're talking
Well,
about.
what do you think about it?
I don't need to have an opinion. Your guys' opinion matters, though.
Of course. The people listening would like to know, though, I think.
I think that they're doing it, on purpose because it keeps that hype train going. Not only are you getting the information that we're going to get at a BlizzCon announcement, which I've seen so much stuff in groups where people are like, it hasn't been 2 years, we're not going to get an expansion announcement. Listen, guys, we're getting an expansion announcement, I promise you. It's all but been confirmed by Ian. He has alluded to a BlizzCon expansion announcement like a gajillion times. So I mean, it's happening, guys. BlizzCon expansion announcement is happening. But I think the book gives people want data. They want information. They want to know all the things. And I think that maybe it'll help them sell the expansion better, reach more people. I don't know. Rem, what about you? What do you think?
I think it's smart.
Would you care to elaborate on what exactly is smart about that?
But yeah, you're 100% right. They need to build up the hype. They need to get back to surprising us again instead of us being not only in the know, but we know stuff way too early. And like you're saying, a lot of people are like, "There's not going to be an expansion announcement. It's not been enough time." But I mean, the way they've been rolling out patches and the way they're able to roll out patches, we're at least going to get something important in terms of the next expansion.
Yeah, it's happening, and the expansion's happening sooner. I've been telling people that forever, and they're like, it's not going to happen. Shout out to Justin. Shout out to Neil. Shout out to Neil, these naysayers who don't believe me. I told Neil on Twitter, let's bet. Let's bet that we are going to see March, April for the expansion. Bet me. Bet me. And he was like, I'm thinking at the very earliest June. Guys, I'm telling you, I feel it in my bones.
She knows. I believe her based on that. But you got to understand why people say no, because of the traditional 2-year type of wait we've always had.
That is what Blizzard does. They shock and surprise and amaze. That is what they do.
Well, yeah, after not giving us a pet for the virtual ticket, they have to do something to make them happy.
You're right. They got to make up for that because people all over the world are ready to just burn shit down because they're pissed off about the pet. That's real talk, guys. And I totally get it. Like, if I was a huge pet collector and I expected that, like, I'd be pretty upset. I'd be sad. So I get it.
Well, we agreed last week. The mount kind of made up for it.
It's a great mount. It's not the boat I want, but it's a boat nonetheless. Like, it's an airship type of thing, so it's kind of boat-ish. I feel like if mine's
missing hose.
I feel like, right, and that's the next thing I was going to say. If they're going to give us boats in the next expansion, can you give me a hoe to go along with the boats so that I can, in fact, have my boats and hoes? I don't necessarily just want, like, not even really one hoe. Can I maybe get multiple? Because what if I don't like the first one? I need to have options. I like to be able to choose.
Well, if Dark rides in the back of your boat, then you have a boat and a hoe.
That's actually pretty valid. I like it. And if Murky is also in my boat, I have 2 hoes. One's a really big hoe.
You'll have different hoes in different area codes.
In terms of hoe tendencies, widespread. There's no real way to help I love you, Murky, very much so. So I wanted to talk about something before we start talking about the sub races that were data mined, which if any of you have been paying attention, Rem has been talking about sub races. I've been talking about sub races. I talked in the method video about sub races because I stole that idea from Rem. It was so I could sound cool. But we've been talking about the idea of sub races way before this was data mined. So if you guys listen or watch, please know we might know a little thing or two if our direction was in the same direction as what they were thinking as far as what we would like to see, which everybody wants to see sub races. So it's not like we're not super smart there. Just, I think it was the next logical step. But
yeah, I've noticed in the community really quick that they're either excited or indifferent to it. No one's like, oh, this shouldn't be a thing.
It's kind of new for Jim's brain to process.
Oh, there you go.
I totally lost my train of thought. So before we talk about the sub races that were data mined, I want to talk about something. So typically on show day, I go through all the news to make sure I've grabbed any important. I hit all the important sites. I hit Wowhead. I hit Icy Veins. I hit MMO Champion. I try to make sure that I grab the things that I think are important to you guys to listen to or for us to discuss. In doing that, I also browse the forums. I like to see what the players are talking about. What are the devs talking about? What's the banter? What things are going on? I don't know why Rem's laughing at me, but
I know it's about to happen.
That's where you say what you're laughing at.
So in doing this, I came across this forum post where this gentleman is reporting somebody for selling nudes in game.
Okay.
On our very own server, Argent Dawn, in my very own town, somebody is selling nudes. She refers to nudes and videos, guys, XXX videos. She refers to her nudes as her piggies, and I think obviously she might be talking about the vag. I'm not 100% sure. But like, piggy is her code word for her thing. So I have which you guys don't have it, unfortunately. If you click into that more info that's posted there, you'll be able to see these images. You'll just have to copy and paste the links. But
what are you going to show us?
I'm going to show these images. No, not the nudes, guys.
No, I'm just
Those
curious.
of you at home that are getting excited, that are like, shit, if I'm audio only, I better run to the YouTube channel. So this guy, who does not name the person, right? Because there's no naming and shaming allowed on the forums. You can't publicly call another player out on the forums like that. So, this person, for those of you listening at home, not watching the YouTube version, this person says, what kind of currency do you ask for the video of the piggy? Because she refers to it as the piggy. She says, gold on Argent Dawn or Torren Mill or PayPal. He says, how much for both? She said, I have 3 videos, 45k gold or 40 for an image without the video. So in this thing, I don't know where he got this. I think it's this RP community. The RP community has this add-on that they use, right? That they can use to develop their story for their character, and people can click on your name if you're in that community, I think, and look at stuff. I had the add-on before, but I don't have it now. So basically with this person's name, which in the little thing it says selling nudes, 3 videos of piggy, and then shows the image. I didn't look at the image because part of it was blurred out, which was kind of funny, but Slut Cuddler is their title. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a title. Those of you in the RP community,
cuddles.
Well, I know what Slut Cuddler means, but I don't know where they got that from. If that's like that RP add-on which lets them put titles to themselves. I don't know much about it, so if any of you know. Now, what I thought was funny is this person, not only are they trying to get game gold, they're also trying to get real money, right? So you are selling your goodies in a game where nerds will buy it, because let's be honest, guys, we're nerds and we buy that kind of shit. Like, it just is what it is. I don't personally buy that kind of stuff because I have my own piggy, so I don't.
There's a market for it. Yes, there's a market for it, right?
I don't have to buy images or videos of someone else's piggy because I have my own. But so then he posts this thing, which I'm thinking total RP. Maybe this might be the name of the add-on. I'm not really sure what this add-on is. But in this, like, there's this thing that she talks about how much money she's made selling piggy pictures and piggy videos, which again, I believe piggy equals vagina in this instance, which is a really weird thing to call it. But you guys can't really see it, even though I have the image here. But some of this stuff, she's like, little piggy has been looking around for someone. Oh, I can't read that. Never mind, I can't read that. JK, guys, I can't read some of that stuff because it's kind of weird.
That's yeah.
Are we sponsoring her? Why are we?
No, like, so I don't know her name. Her name's not on here. It could be a dude. I don't know. So listen.
Is it Miss
Total Role Play? Yeah, it's one of the role playing.
Okay, so guys, here's why this was funny to me. It's funny to me because somebody was super appalled that this person was doing this, but I kept thinking, this whole time I thought this didn't really happen. I really didn't think that this existed. Like, I knew that in the world of
Warcraft,
you got to be difficult. It's difficult to talk about things like this because, God forbid, I slut shame. I mean, they're sluts. Shouldn't they be shamed? But whatever. I'm not here to debate that political correctness. I just feel like I never knew on Argent Dawn, she said AD, my very own town is being corrupted by Piggy.
By Miss Piggy.
By piggy slangers, guys. They're people slaying their piggies.
Should we find them and make bacon out of them? Or, like, what do we want to do here?
I'm going to find her and bring her on the show.
No, you're not. I'm
going to go undercover, and I am going to befriend this piggy person. So if you know who this piggy slayer is on Argent Dawn, I need you to tell me, because I need to know who this piggy person is who's showing pictures of her piggy.
If it's a piggy slayer, she wouldn't go by piggy slayer because she's showing the piggy. That would be
what's happening in these videos with piggies is what really begs the question. Is curiosity is going to get the best of me, and I might pay her in-game gold to get these images because I'm curious, but I'm just kidding. Now, guys, I want to ask you, the community who listens and watches, if you listen on iTunes, shoot me an email at belle@pwnecast.net. If you're watching on YouTube, give me a comment. I want to know, do you guys have any experience with either buying a nude, and I'm not going to judge you, or
I will,
or seeing or knowing of a situation where somebody bought a nude or a video, or there was some type of transaction that occurred with piggies in general? I want to know what you guys have ever heard of. And if you are the person who bought the piggy pictures or videos, I'm going to just keep saying the word piggy because I feel like it's funny. Yeah. Send me an email, and it can be an anonymous email. You can create a fake email account and send it to me and leave your name out of it. I really want to know your story if you have. Don't be embarrassed. Now, the reason I want you to send that to me is I am curious as to why. Is it because you could? Because it was offered? I mean, I know how men are, and women are I've known a lot of women who would totally pay for piggy pictures. Like, I know that this thing is a thing. So I don't think Jimma is mature enough to handle this piggy conversation. But I really want to dive in the mind. I want to do an investigative journalism piece, Pwnecast style, and I want to dive in the mind of piggy purchasers. I want to know what goes through someone's mind. I really hope somebody sends me a legit email and says, hi, I purchased this nude. Here's the reason why. Maybe you're single. Maybe because somebody was offering it. Maybe you bought game time for somebody, or maybe there was some type of trade that happened. Guys, I'm not judging. I just confessed at the beginning of this episode I wanted to be a Hollywood madam. I could be Argent Dawn's madam, guys. Let's make this shit happen. It just came to me right now that I could be the Argent Dawn madam.
I told you I set it up for that, so you know you're not limited
Ladies,
to one.
If you are listening or watching and you're interested in joining my piggy crew, hit me up. On a serious note, though, I know. No, I would never do that. On a serious note, though, I am interested in both sides of the coin here. If you're a female that listens and you might have showed a piggy, email me anonymously, belle@pwnecast.net, and give me your... I really want to know. Maybe you just showed a nude because it was part of your RP experience and it was erotic RP. Like, I'm there. I want to know these experiences. I really hope people respond to me and email me, even if it's create a fake email. I'll never ask you your name. Like, and this is not to chastise or make fun of. I am genuinely interested in this.
I can answer all those questions. You don't have to dig deep into the
Oh.
mind of a piggy purchaser.
First
to
of
know.
all, there's no piggy diving. That is illegal. Or painful, depending on the situation and the way your room is set up. But with that being said, guys, I want to ask you two next. So have either one of you ever purchased a piggy picture, just received a random piggy picture? When I say piggy, guys, I'm talking about vaginas, I'm talking about boobs. But I want to know if either one of you have ever been in some type of piggy transaction. Tell the truth and shame the devil, guys. We're in a safe space right now. Our viewers will not judge you.
Transaction, no, but someone did buy IRL nudes from someone on the server, and they posted it on Trade Chat. And I was like, okay, what is this? And I was like, full glory. Yeah, no, they but they're shit on blast.
Piggy glory.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Jimma, what about you?
No, I've never purchased, and I've been debating on being like.
Have you ever solicited, meaning maybe you didn't give a good in return, you just were like, yo, baby, slide on into my DMs.
No, I'm not.
Slide in my whispers.
Come on over to my
relationships are
garrison.
developed over the internet, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it because it can develop, but I've never been one to. I would feel like that would be one of the only reasons, other than you being so intrigued on seeing the person's piggy. But no, I have not. The closest I've done to dealing in things like that was in my early Warcraft days on Naughty Nikki. I asked, can someone help a girl out with some gold? And I got 500 gold. So I pretended to be a woman one time. But
That makes a lot of sense.
I feel awkward and I want to move on from the topic. So
But
no.
also another part of that though is even if they're selling their quote unquote nudes, they could literally pull anything off the internet and someone would believe them.
Well, there's a market for piggy pics. Like, let's just put that out there. We know there's a market for gentlemen wanting to see piggy pics, but
Yeah,
Sometimes
Wilbur-
I wish I didn't have my morals and ethics and belief system because I feel like I would be a lot richer if I was.
Whoa.
I'm just kidding, guys. I have way too much insecurity, really. It's not even about ethics at this point. It's just insecurity is all it is.
So hopefully you get some emails, Belle.
I really do. Emails and comments. If you're not ashamed, comment, guys. Like this, I don't want to judge anyone. I love all kinds of people, and I know friends who have given said nudes and received said nudes. So, not judging. This forum post was so funny, and this guy was so offended that this person was selling
like this
nudes.
tragedy is going on AD.
Yeah,
Why do this on a game?
Yeah, I want to tell him you're okay, guy.
I haven't, and that's obvious, but let's just say that I did purchase piggy pics. I would never say it on the show.
Why wouldn't you though?
You think Bram would be like, yes, one time in Miss of Pandaria, this gnome over there was flirting with me and we exchanged piggy pics, or I paid her.
But why wouldn't you? This is a place of honesty. We have no secrets from our viewers.
Well, and I was honest.
Yeah,
but
he's subtly saying that he has.
No, I'm being honest. But if I did, I still wouldn't say it. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, by the way.
By the by.
Is there any news that we can talk about, please?
I just wanted to see how awkward you would feel if I just
Very awkward. I'm turning as red as my shirt.
So, some people are probably like, wow, Belle, that's the weirdest I've ever heard you. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm weird.
I can guarantee that no one said that this episode.
Yeah.
So let's talk about these sub races. They have 4 sub races data mined right now. Now I should probably let you know that I don't think this is the end of it. I'm sure we're going to see at least one sub race for every single class, if not several, right? This is probably just the very beginning. Now what's weird to me is the fact that this is an assumption here we're making based off Wowhead's data mining. It's important for me to state that ahead of time, but we've all been wanting it. It makes a lot of sense from a customization perspective. It makes a lot of sense from an intro quest perspective for a way to revamp making a new character. It right now there isn't a whole lot of leeway to go when it comes to creating a toon, right? We only have so many options. Some of us have all the alts possible, right? We have all the combinations humanly possible because we've been playing this game for that long. So I think at some point we knew that this customization was going to have to come to pass, because it's either keep adding races and having to develop that on an every single expansion basis, which, correct me if I'm wrong, we didn't have a new race in Kata, right?
2.
We had 2 new races in Kata?
Yeah, the Worgans and the Goblins.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. What, is there an expansion we didn't have one? Lich King was Death Knight.
Warlords.
I think, yeah, Warlords, because they kind of
Warlords,
revamped the
Wrath, we had DKs.
right
Yeah, that's not a race.
class, right?
Well, race, class, same diff, in my opinion.
No.
Well, it's
Well,
still, it's something
I know
new
what
being
you're
added to the character creation, so it, to me, it's relatively the same. Okay, so I was wrong. I've been saying Kata for like a month. What an idiot. I
Okay.
totally meant Warlords of Draenor, guys. So,
Yeah, no, BC added a new race. Wrath, the hero class. Kata, the 2 races. So, I mean,
so they've data mined Nightborn, which, I mean, I think we expected that. They data mined Void Elf. They data mined the Light Forged Draenei, however you say it, in whatever land you come from. And they've data mined High Mountain Tauren, which, if you guys watched my method video that I did with Zaru, I talked about subraces. Rem talked about subraces a couple of episodes ago. We discussed this. I think that they're in the right direction. Now, although, keep in mind, this is not confirmed, this is data mined information, it's weird that they would data mine it now.
was it data mined in the 732 stuff, or is this data mined in like
No,
the
730, which is super weird. It's almost like, I don't know if it was a slip or if it was intended for the data miners to grab, because, you know, sometimes Blizzard likes to let other people do their hype.
dirty work?
Yeah, they like to let the other people do their hype and let the discoverers figure it out, much like the Kulteris armor that magically appeared and then disappeared, and then mum was the word. Nobody would comment on the Kulteris armor. So I think that this is good. And the reason that I think that this is good, and I think you'll all agree with me, is that it does create more options. And I mean, really, like right now we're a war zone. Lots of shit's going down. We're relying on the guys on Argus, which the Crocoons, those are the Broken, right?
Yes.
But is that considered a subrace?
That would be considered a subrace if it were to be added, yeah.
So right now a war is raging on Argus. We took the fight to Argus. We're killing the Legion. We're cutting off the head. We've been fighting all over the I completely lost my freaking I'm going to hell, guys. That's all I know.
No, you're
I'm going to
not.
hell. We have been pretty much since, well, I mean forever, because that's the nature of what we do. We're heroes. That's what we do. But so we've dealt with everything Legion related on Azeroth. We've had this huge battle on Azeroth. Then we are battling this stuff on Argus. We don't really know when we're going at that point as far as wars are considered, but I think having subraces just means more people for our collective to battle, to just really drive home. We're going to be, we think, dealing with the old gods, guys. If we're dealing with the old gods, this is the ultimate culmination of battling the largest power, right? Like all the things that we've been fighting up until this point. And I talked to Cash about this earlier, and he had made a good point. All the things that we've been fighting have been they'll pale in comparison. We've never battled a power like the old gods. Up until now, it's been theory. We knew that they were super powerful. Now we're assuming here, guys, this is an assumption, that we're going to see this live and in action, where we're going to really know hurt and pain. Like, we're going to need all the people we can possibly gather to forge this battle ahead. It's the only way we're going to be able to essentially save Azeroth, right? Like,
100-man raids.
yeah, like that's the only way we're going to win this battle. That's the only way we're going to win it. So subraces is just a logical assumption, right, Rem?
Well, if were the survivors of the Burning Legion. Whenever they attack a world, the survivors would join the Army of the Light, and something that we can incorporate in our own lives and our own little armies, because we need all the people that we can get to go against the void. Excuse me. The Burning Legion is a stepping stone. There's many more things to go against past the old gods.
And we in the very beginning of Legion, we thought that this was going to be end of days type of stuff, right? Because so many main characters and main players from a storyline perspective were just taken out of the race as far as being in a future expansion. We killed off a lot of people, and we closed a few storylines kind of semi, like some of the stories were closed and then some were left wide open, such as the Sylvanas and Greymane thing. We kind of took off from that so that we could go battle on Argus and do what we needed to do there. I'm assuming Ian had said at some point we'll go back to the Sylvanas Greymane storyline, which I don't think it would take place on Argus. That wouldn't make much sense to me, Rem. Tell me if I'm wrong, that would actually need to be taken back to Azeroth, yes?
Yeah, no, it'd fall back onto Azeroth.
Which we haven't been dealing with much right now, which begs the question, while we're on Argus, what is going on Azeroth while we're away? What war is happening, or what is brewing, rather, that we will see in the coming of the next expansion that we're missing because we're misdirected, in a sense, if I could use a hunter term. We're being misdirected to Argus. So what great battle is happening, or what is I guess brewing on Azeroth that we're going to have to go back and contend to, really, I think is the exciting part of it all.
Well, for sure, with all the Elganoth whispers and all the speculations about N'Zoth, that will come into play after we return from Argus. We are going to have N'Zoth at full power out of his prison, whereas we had Yogg-Saron, Cthulhu, all those, they were fractions of what their full power was because they were still in their prison. And like Cash had made it a good point, this is going to be the biggest adversary we've ever fought. Even Sargeras feared the old gods. Not only the old gods themselves, but what the old gods entailed. And they are there just to corrupt the world soul, and their overlords, the void gods, are the biggest thing in the shadows at the moment. We don't know about all that.
It's going to be a battle royale for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, there's going to be, by the time we're done, we're all going to be dirty, guys. That's all I'm going to say about that. Like, good things for sure. And I'm excited because, well, what I was saying earlier is we thought Legion was going to be end of days or wrapping up so many things that we would have to begin anew with a new direction. We're always going to save Azeroth because that's what World of Warcraft is. Like, we have to thwart and save and be the hero, and Azeroth's always going to be at odds, right? Or I don't know if it's because we're so awesome that, like, what about all the other planets in the cosmos? Nobody wants to mess with them?
No, it comes down to the Titan world soul. It attracts everything to it. It's like a beacon, like with Lyra being one of the Void Lords in the Seat of the Triumvirate.
I just heard bacon, so
yum. But anyways, she worked as a beacon for the Ethereals that were inside the Twisting Nether, and it's the same thing with that's the whole reason why the Burning Legion even attacked, not once, not twice, but almost 3 times. Was because of the power seeping out of Azeroth. It's a beacon.
Interesting.
I never would have known that if it wasn't for you to tell me that kind of stuff, because I didn't realize. I always wondered, outside of if we needed it for to be relevant, I did always wonder what made us so special that everybody was like battling for us. But now I guess I get it.
Well, no, that's why Velen, Sargeras, and Archimonde were brought into the tried to be brought into the Burning Legion, was because of the world soul that was in Argus. It all comes down to the world souls. I have a theory that sentient beings are made because of the world soul in the World of Warcraft universe. But then again, that doesn't work because, well, there's a lot of stuff that could go into that.
So wait, what?
Well, so on Draenor, there was a spore mound and overgrowth of life energy that was taking over the planet, and Agomar actually intercepted into that and put Titan forged his own beings on there, the Grons, and those eventually broke down and become ogres, orcs, etc. And so, either by the hand of the Titans or by the hand of the World Souls, as they're trying to become Titans, that's how the sentient beings, a lot of them, have come into to play.
Super interesting.
Well, that's a theory that I have, actually. Yeah.
Huh.
Not really spot on.
I'm not really sure where to segue into that.
Yeah.
I felt a little awkward. Well, with that, let's talk about, I mean, I kind of gave the stuff as far as the things that I want to see at, for the next expansion, which I think it would be at this point considered a wish list, right? So I obviously, we talked about sub races. Story wise, I told you guys last week I wanted to be on a fucking boat. I wanted to have a Buccaneers hat, and I wanted there to be pirates. Like that, I really need. If I could get that, that would be solid. And I want to see guild halls or player housing, but specifically, I would like to see guild halls. I would really like them to find new ways of making guilds relevant again. Although this is not an important matter for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't really care about guilds, and that's totally okay. Different players, different things. But I would like to see them. Right now, guilds aren't really relevant in the sense of they don't offer anything outside of my sparkling personality if you're in Riders of Rohan, but like they don't really, they took away a lot of the things that guilds had that made them, whatever, leveling perks, right? Like give us something that keeps guilds important and relevant in the eyes of the community so that we can just have that. And one of the things that I talked about, especially on the another plug for that method video that I did, one of the things I talked about was guild halls. We've already expanded. We started with garrisons. Nobody liked garrisons. I love them. Then we went to order halls, right? They fixed the things that they broke and the not having anybody to socialize and not seeing other players in a single garrison. So they made order halls, which is brilliant, fucking brilliant. And then now I would like to see them, since they've tested this, I want to see them implement guild halls. I am going to lobby for guild halls until my last World of Warcraft breath. I'm going to be 105 fucking years old on Twitter begging the devs for guild halls. I feel like it's essential for creating a social space because we live in game. It's really cool to stand in front of a player and talk to that player. It's really cool to interact in game especially from a guild standpoint. We like to have guild events. It'd be great to have a guild hall to have these guild events. It would be super if we had guild wars where we could PvP each other. We could do war games. We could challenge another guild for war games. And you know what I mean? Like, I would love that to be a thing. There's 2 guilds on my server I cannot stand. I would love to challenge those guys to some type of PvP war games and just wreck shit. Like, I would love it. But I want to see some focus happen. I need to see an announcement at BlizzCon for the expansion that talks about making guilds relevant again, because guilds matter. And if anybody at Blizzard is listening to this, guys, guilds matter. It is an important thing that you guys really need to seriously take a look at. We need it, especially those players who live their life in game in guilds. Like I said, a lot of people are not in guilds and it's not that big of a deal. A lot of people are also not like me, where my guild is basically my whole life outside of my family. Like, my guild's right up there on my priority list. But for me, of all the things, that's what I want to see. I want to see that. I want to see a guild. I want to see guild stuff. The rest of the stuff is icing on the cake, guys. The next expansion, I'm sure, is going to be just as amazing as Legion, because they really refined what they were doing this expansion. I'm really proud of that. So with that, Jimma?
Yeah?
What would you like to see? What is your expansion wish list from a pet perspective? Outside of adding new pets, like, is there a system or something you'd like to see them implement? Like, what would be Jimma's wish list in-game for the next expansion?
They don't, wish list is tough because most of it, you're right, would have been just like keep the cool pets coming. They talked last expansion about possible raising the level cap, and that just doesn't work. Pets need to stay at level 25. You don't want to make all the hard work they've already done and just make that old content irrelevant. And that's the dangers that you have when you raise the level cap of pets. So I really just want them to keep going with what they're doing right now, like the pet battle dungeons. Like, that's going to keep coming. That's going to get better. I saw a big improvement from Wailing Caverns to the Dead Mines. They're going to keep probably doing meta achievements, but they're going to run out of raids for raiding with leashes, right? I don't think they're going to just keep adding so every boss potentially drops a pet so they can have raiding with leashes 15. So I think maybe what they could do is have maybe dungeons with leashes. So you have a rare pet that could drop at the end of the dungeon, making just something else cool that you can get possibly while leveling alts or even leveling for your first time if you're new for the game. So I'm, and I know you make fun of me a lot for just being so easygoing and, whatever happens is going to be cool, man. But they really just, I
don't make fun of you. I think it's nice for you to be like chill.
I'm chill.
Because I super feel strongly about a lot of things. Rem super feels strongly about a lot of things. And usually they're at odds, like most of the time. And that's okay because the debate is good. But I think it's nice to have someone that is neutral in that regard, where it's just like you're going with the flow and you're super happy.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Had you considered pet battle raids? Because we got the pet battle dungeons. Had you considered a raid type of scenario?
I feel like it would just kind of be, oh man, someone brought this up though, and I'm going to totally.
What if there was other players that could use their pets and you guys could
That's
you could
really
go in like,
cool.
you could go in with like a team of 12. So
man.
three, one person with 3, another person with 3, another person with 3. And then you guys just, it's like an all out.
That's super creative, actually, because I almost just disregarded that and said, well, it'd be the same as a pet battle dungeon, but no, because you'd have a couple people. Someone mentioned a couple weeks ago, or maybe some episodes ago, like 2v2 pet battles, like 2 people versus 2 people.
You could carry me if that happened.
Absolutely. And I think you would pick up pet battles very quickly anyway. Like, it's just after you do enough of it, I feel like you'll like it.
2v2
But what you just said is very interesting. A raid boss. That's really cool.
Where you have to have multiple pet, like maybe it could be a 3-man, like 3 of you could go in, or 4 of you could group up, or maybe even 5, since the group cap is 5, and you each get your 3 pets, and boom, like taking down a boss.
Or even like a world quest. So if they're doing world quest next expansion, maybe they'll change up the way people are questing every day they go back to. But if world quest stays or something similar where you have and you need a minimum of 3 people, doesn't have to be super hard if they can range in difficulties, but that'd be cool to do a world quest and need a couple other people to kill, like, how there's a raid boss and you need a big group. So very cool. I like that. I hope Blizzard's listening to you, Belle. That was good. I had no ideas.
I stole the idea from Rem. So, well it was my idea to have the multiple people, but he also mentioned pet battle breeding. Have you considered that as a possibility?
Yeah, but I don't think they'll do that. I know they do that in the Pokemon, right? I just feel like it's too much. And one of the points that I did write down, like, I used to say, well, I know people get mad that Blizzard takes time and puts it towards pet battles. I don't care anymore. I love the vision overall, but I just feel like that might be too much.
No, I think pet battle is equal to other people's gameplay. Right. I think pet battle is just as important as a raid or PvP to me, because anytime that where 2 or more are gathered, people, we go into church. Right. But I'm saying, like, if there's a group of individuals and there's pet battles have a huge, like, if not the same amount as like PvP.
Right.
I don't think it's that out of the water, but think about this breed perspective. What if you had to locate certain breeds, you had to catch them, battle to catch them the same way, but you needed these specific breeds, maybe they were rare spawns, maybe they were hard to get, and then you go see whatever the pet battle tamer are, and they teach you how to breed. Yeah, and it's a simple UI. It wouldn't be difficult. X and X pet equals Y pet.
Right. I guess I just wouldn't see the point. Like I get the purpose of
Stronger
it.
pet for battling.
Well, you could maybe get like a specific
So
type
a
of
certain
breed, but-
combination of skills that they would have. So let's say you have, off the top of my head, let's do undead and mechanical.
Right.
Let's say you, obviously you wouldn't be able to breed mechanical, I wouldn't think, but let's undead and beast, right?
Right.
You breed undead and beast, and you would get the best of both worlds spell wise. Because
That'd
it's
be
like
cool.
a combat, it's like a hybrid type of situation, so it gives
Right.
more
Well, plus you have the
combinations.
speed, power, all that stuff that you could also.
Right.
And the speed power could be the bonus. So if you have like depending on the pet,
Right.
it could get an ultra option to get that speed version. Like you could add maybe
Yeah.
something to add some Eye of Newt or fucking
Yeah.
whatever weird shit in your breeding. But it would allow for more
Whispering Eye.
combinations of pet battles.
Right.
Because you'd be introducing, like, maybe you would have trouble killing another pet that's in a player versus player because you actually
Right.
have to use a different strategy because of the type of pet.
I like the idea of just like having some, I guess, rare pets or creativity. I don't know. I don't think that it works in the Warcraft world. Not and maybe I'm not. I don't know. I just don't think it will happen, and I don't think
much?
there's. I just don't. I think there's like, for instance, when I was living this crazy world of maybe making epic pets or having little symbols from battling and winning 10,000 wins with, say, your rabbit, and it gets a little mark. It just might be a little too much. I love the raid idea. Actually, that was very creative, Rem, and I just think they're just going to continue off the already success they have. The raids is cool. There's going to be a lot more pet battle dungeons, but in that chill mode that Jim is, I just trust the creators to continue with making pet battles a thing, and I'm glad they just keep throwing pets at us for us to collect. So, yeah, I think the expansion will be good for the pet world.
Agreed.
What are you guys hoping or wishing for? Like, is there like wish list for you guys?
I gave mine already. So, Rem,
Yeah.
you do all kinds of stuff in games. So what would you like to see from a wish list perspective? And you don't have to just do like your normal lore stuff, like whatever things you would like to see them build on.
Well, I'll start with the lore part, but what I want them to do is flesh out the story behind the Void, the old gods, and potentially what we're going to be facing after this next expansion. Like, I'm just hoping they keep the story arc going in some place that's interesting and not like keeping us on Azeroth. I mean, that would break my heart to leave Azeroth for good, but now that we know that there's so many worlds and so many world souls and so many different possibilities, like, I want them to flesh out a story where they can take us somewhere else or take us somewhere deeper into the story that they haven't been able to talk about ever before. So in terms of the story, I just want them to keep that story arc going in something that's interesting instead of like Warlords where it's like, oh, this is really weird, this is really interesting, and then it just falls flat kind of thing. Whereas with Legion, it's like we already know everything that there is to really know about the Burning Legion, and then they throw a fucking curveball about the Antorus and the Heart of Argus and stuff like that. So I want them to keep surprising and keep going in the right direction.
I want to see what Anduin's doing. I need them to develop Anduin's story and make me really love him as a king. My heart is wanting for a king because we don't have one. I know he's there. He's in the background right now because we're dealing with stuff on Argus. Where the fuck is he right now with stuff going on? Like, where are you? Why are you not in my ear championing with me and rooting for me on the Vindicar? Why are you not involved? Because I need, like right now, our hearts need a leader. I need that king. Where are you?
Yeah.
So I need Blizzard to, and I'm sure they will, guys. This is what Blizzard does. I'm sure, like, there's a reason he's off doing something, and I'm sure that was all for a purpose and a reason, but I need, my heart is empty.
Time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my heart is empty because I don't have a king. And I'm sure it's the same for the Horde because they don't have Vol'jin. Where the fuck's Sylvanas? Like, we need our leaders. This is what's important. I love Dadgar, guys, but he is not my king. He is not the leader of the Horde. Like, we
He's
as
our dad,
factions, right? But we as factions, there's a hole in our heart that's missing for our leaders, and we need them. Right?
No, I agree. They're doing a really good way of making it actually seem like a story, where we are on on Argus and we don't know what's going on in Azeroth at the moment, and so it's more of a what's the phrase when like the audience knows but the characters don't.
You're asking the wrong people. I know what you mean, but
I don't know.
But they're making us in depth in the story instead of like they always have something sprinkled in the background or something other. Whereas it's been over a year, but it could only be like 2 or 3 months. So in reality, it's just
maybe our leaders, our faction leaders, are preparing. Maybe they're
or they're getting their asses kicked. I don't know.
Or he's trapped in a closet, right? Like maybe Dadgar put him in a closet because he was afraid he was going to harm himself. Like I don't really know. Dadgar seems like he's slightly overbearing, so I don't really know like what is going on. But maybe our leaders are prepping. Maybe
they need to be.
Maybe they're building an army. Maybe they've sought out an army, or maybe that's part of the story because they're prepping for this giant battle.
Maybe. But yeah, on the note of Anduin still though, they did this whole cinematic right before Tomb of Sargeras, and it's all like, oh, Anduin, he's sad, and he picks up the sword, and it's all like badass. It's the sword is showing with the light instead of the rage now, and it's like, oh, he's gonna start doing something interesting, and then it's like, oh wait, he's not even around.
Something is afoot though. Something's simmering in the pot, so I'm not gonna discount it yet. But I'm missing my leader. I need him to fill the void.
Well, you spoke on it before too, even when he first became, and I agree with you.
Yeah, Velen's actually more of a neutral here.
And Sylvanas, she doesn't need to come into her leadership so much because she already knows how to be a leader. Obviously, well, there's that, but I mean, she knows how to kind of lead because she's led before. I feel like an Illidan. He is his scars, guys. He don't have time to be any kind of a leader to us right now because
the comic meme.
Yeah.
Where he's playing with his cars. He's like, I am my cars.
Yeah, like he killed the Naru or whatever that was. Is that a Naru?
Zero. Yes, Prime Naru. 0.
In pieces on the floor. We had to pick up the pieces of the dead Naru. How awful is that? Like, that's the equivalent of, like, watching someone you love get murdered and having to pick up their dead body and bury it. Sometimes I love the writers. I feel like they got a really twisted sense of humor. So, for I already talked about the guild halls, as far as wants for the expansion. Yes?
But yeah, no, I completely agree with the guild halls. I'm going to go in the left field and talk about another game that promised it. And it took them 3 years to do it. So, I mean, I still hold that little hope that eventually they will add it because it's something that will enhance the game overall because they added, like you said, all the perks for being in a guild. They made it awesome at one point, and then they took it all away.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I need guild
Pandaria
halls.
And by the first half, Mist of Pandaria is amazing for guilds.
They could make it where there's a spot in whatever faction's main city, so they could totally make a spot in Stormwind or a spot outside of Orgrimmar that would be the guild hall easily. There's enough space there for them to be able to do that. They wouldn't need to have individual. Maybe you could customize some things from a guild perspective with like the guild banners.
Yeah,
You
put
mean
some
it'd be like
banners,
a-
maybe like an auction house. Just make it seem like it's a place
Yeah.
where we can congregate as a
But you
guild,
mean like
know?
it'd be like a garrison in the sense of it's in the same spot for
And only
every
guilds,
day.
and you could
Yeah.
have a Hearthstone to your guild hall, so
Yeah.
you could have a cooldown to your guild hall. You could have extra storage in your guild hall. In a game that I used to play called Red Moon, you had army halls because they were armies, and my army was called Nemesis. Anyway, that was the original Belle, FYI. So, they had guild, kind of like the guild vaults they have now, but they had a lot of storage for guilds. So like the guild storage we have now is kind of minuscule. It's kind of small. It's not a ton, especially for larger guilds, but they like you could only go to your army hall to be able to use your they basically, there was no like guild vault in the banking area. You had to go to your, like, make the army or make the guild hall useful for purposes like that.
Right.
Put a mission board in there, maybe. Put a mailbox in there. Put things that we need that we could use for our guild that are a perk of having a guild.
Guild world quests if they're going to keep with world
Yeah,
quests.
instead of like just the instead of just the guild objectives that we have, actually make it interactive where it's like, oh, it rotates and this week you have to kill these things, or you have to complete this quest as a guild, like you have to have X amount of people or something.
When you guys know, and Belle, you know firsthand, obviously, people stay subscribed sometimes not for the new content, but for the people they're hanging out. It's like a social thing.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
obviously your dream of a guild hall will just bring that to the next level, I feel.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for whatever they have coming our way. I just want to see good story develop. I want to see some class specific things.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing as far as what our side progression. This was another conversation that I had with Cash earlier in regards to side progression. We've always had side progression of some sort in every expansion. It was the guild hall, it was the order hall, it was our artifact weapon. Previously it was the cloak, then it was the ring where it was a full, like, we kept adding to the ring. What's going to be this expansion's theme? Cash said possibly trinkets. I would agree with that. They're building a lot on these trinkets for Antorus, and perhaps it's foreshadowing to what they want to dive into for adding different powers to your trinkets, because trinkets are largely the most powerful of the items that you equip outside of, your weapon. But we do need some type of a side progression system. I don't think they're going to do artifact weapons again, because it wouldn't make sense. We've done that already, and we're giving those up at the end of the expansion. But I do think that trinkets was a solid concept there, because
it's way better than a ring.
and it's the sought after. And really, we've already done the other parts. It's not like we would have fucking boots or some weird shit.
What?
Like,
I was just thinking of like new kicks.
yeah, like trinkets would be the logical step in that direction. Would be
You start with sandals and then you work it into boots.
And then work boots.
Well, all kinds of boots with the fur, boots without the fur, stilettos. Like, guys, flip Jesus shoes, people. We could really just, but
Trinkets is a good idea.
I do think, but I do wonder what the side progression is going to be throughout the expansion. What's the theme that we're going to be upgrading to?
I don't have
it
a
does beg the
wish.
question of what we're going to be doing.
We design our own weapon.
That's another thing. Maybe it's a community weapon. Maybe there's this thing that we have to add to as a community, right? Because we know we're battling old gods here, guys. We are going to need everything. So what if we have to all band together to make this super powerful weapon? Silence. Got it.
Well, I'm thinking of what you're saying. Did you want us to go, yeah?
But like maybe we have to put into
so
it.
rude.
Like we spend the whole, I mean, I guess it sounds stupid when I say it out loud. Never mind, guys. Just ignore me.
It's not. You thought it was. I don't think it was.
But I mean,
That's
You're just
thought.
brainstorming, right?
if we have to give up the weapons, it makes sense to go into something important. I mean, trinkets are useful, but I mean, it's not the end all be all.
Well, you figure we're going to have to do something. How are we going to have the power to battle these guys?
I
We're
mean,
battling for our lives, guys. We're battling for our planet, for our livelihood, for our children. Yeah. We are battling for our realm.
Well, we still did that in, say, Lich King when there wasn't legendaries for every class or whatever. We were still battling
How
for our
are we going to have
freedom.
the power to defeat an old god?
That's a good
the
question.
power of Grayskull.
What if there was another old god that was on our side? Is that a possibility, Rem?
Ooh.
Absolutely not.
It's
No.
not ever. Like
No.
there would never be a time. Like I seen a fucking dreadlord that went to the light in the Vindicar, and we can't get an old god on our side. I can't pay or bribe an old god.
No, apparently not.
Never.
That's like-
There's no old god out there in the world, or titan out there in the world, or anybody out there in the world that would come to our aid to help us.
Well, I don't think.
Absolutely not. That's like trying to be best friends with Stalin.
I feel like even Stalin had a bestie. So that's not a possibility ever.
I mean, anything is possible, but it's highly unlikely.
How are we going to win, Rem? Explain this to me. If we're battling these old gods, how are we going to win? I'm going to have to hit them with a trash can lid. I'm going to have to throw dirt in their eye. Like, we're going to have to fight dirty to win.
Power of friendship.
No, you just bend the knee, guys. Okay.
This is not Care Bears, Jimma.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. Was Care Bear Countdown?
No, Rem, seriously.
Rem, let's go. We need help.
How are we going to be able to pull this off? Give me your ideas.
We have to utilize the power of the light, or use the power of Azeroth.
What if all of the players, we're powering up a companion pet
Like
with
literally-
artifact power, and the pets fight for us,
What?
We can use Jim's pocket portal. Pussy.
right?
Yeah.
I can't believe you said that.
We're gonna power up our companion pets to defeat the old gods. Final answer.
No, like seriously, we're gonna have to use the power of Azeroth. It's if the life force is gonna be leaking out somewhere, we have to utilize it.
I love a good leaky life force. So I don't guys, that we made that really awkward and I wasn't really sure to go from there. So yeah, I think that's good talk on the expansion front. Guys, I want to tell you that if you make sure you follow us on Twitter individually, really, and this isn't just because I want to be awesome, but the guys' Twitters, not necessarily the Pwnecast Twitter, because I'm going to be on Belle's Twitter. That's going to be where I do the bulk of my posting. The Facebook group. Follow on Instagram also, guys, and Snapchat to get, like, as stuff is happening, if you guys are interested in that stuff at BlizzCon.
Oh man, I'm
Coconut
posting
truck,
so much more.
Yeah, so
Like that, yeah.
just make sure you follow us on those various things, which Rem is at, our Twitters are here. Rem is at Remedy Zen on Snapchat. I don't know what he is on Insta. Do you even have an Insta?
I do. But it's like my personal one. I don't remember.
Oh,
what.
so he'll make an Insta. We'll tell you about what the Insta is next week. My Insta's at Belle of Pwnecast also on Instagram. I believe that's what my Instagram is. And then Jimma is also at JimmaBanks on Instagram, right, Jimma?
Yep.
Yeah,
JimmaBanks.
so make sure you follow the Twitter specifically and the Instagram and the Snapchats. And my Snapchat is at Samantha is it. Jimma's is at JimmaBanks. And Rems is at Remedy Zen, because that's going to be where the in between stuff happens, where I'm going to be posting on all those social medias pretty much all day. So,
and some of you weren't listening last year. Some of you were. Thank you for continuing to listen. But like, I failed huge by not posting just the things that I saw. Like I just like even seeing the costumes. Like the furry druid suits and just like all these cool things. There's just so much to see and absorb. So yes, Belle's right. We'll be posting a lot of that good stuff.
A lot of stuff live for sure. So make sure.
And my Instagram's just Remedy Zen.
Oh, see? Everything's easy. So make sure you guys follow on all those things if you listen or watch. That way you can stay up to date on what we're doing throughout the week. I post a lot of weird stuff on my Snapchat. It's random, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of drunk snaps. So make sure you guys follow. We have a Pwnecast Instagram, but it's really difficult for me to swap accounts. It's really difficult for me to do that. So when it comes to the Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat, it's just going to be on our personal ones because it's easier to do it that way. And then we've got Aja, who's going to be manning the Facebook stuff, and I'll try to go live on Facebook if I can dual live on a few different things. So yeah, guys, like, make sure you stay on top of that so that you can get our, I'm going to be tweeting like a mad woman and Snapchatting the reactions when it comes to what's being announced at BlizzCon. So I'm super excited.
And for those listening, if there's like, we mentioned just like all this random stuff that we could see. If there's stuff that you want us to get images of, I know maybe you don't know from just not being at BlizzCons, but if it is like you want to see loads of costumes or the view of all the food trucks or what Belle's eating.
Yeah, all the lines.
Yeah, like, oh yeah. But there's just like, if you're even interested on anything about BlizzCon because you've never been, obviously ask us in the comments or on our social media. We'll always answer and try to please.
Yes. With that said, Jimma,
Always. Yeah.
tell us about your segment. Don't forget the surprise at the end of your segment.
Can we just do it at the start? I feel like just kicking it off
Hey,
now.
whatever you want to do, bro. I got you.
So we know people / I know Belle and Belle knows people, and we are very blessed. We've hit that level where we're able to give away virtual tickets.
Shout
That's
out to
crazy.
Blizzard. I need to make sure I disclaim because I was told that I have to make sure I state that it was Blizzard that gave us the virtual tickets. So it is a courtesy and a thanks to Blizzard for providing those to us for the purposes of giving them away.
Pick up Blizzard.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag Blizzard. No, for real. And that's cool. And that means like, yeah. So thank you, Blizzard, for allowing us to give away virtual tickets. But Jimma, how do I get a virtual ticket? Well, all you have to do is leave a comment in the comments on the YouTube channel, right? You don't have to comment anything specific. You can mention the virtual ticket. We will not be waiting till next episode to announce the winner, though. We'll probably go in the comments Wednesday, maybe no later than Thursday, and we will respond to your comment and tell you you are the lucky winner, because we want you, if you're debating on purchasing it, that you can just like know a little bit ahead of time so you can maybe win it for free. So how awesome is that? Any type of a comment, remember, we'll respond to you. So try to be hip to, the notification of us responding to you. And how cool is it that you can win a virtual ticket, save yourself $40, or get all the cool in-game stuff, no pet, but cool mounts, and just like access to see what's going on the con, right? Cool. So that was pretty straightforward. Now, one thing that I'm ashamed of, and I did not mention it, which we covered the Halloween pets, so I didn't bring up the Naxi pet. The Naxi pet is new this year. It is a good pet. It is 150 tricky treats, just like the other kitty cats or the other ones that you can buy. And it is a good idea to spend your extra tricky treats on a Naxi pet than the pet world on other things you could buy with your tricky treats to try to make gold. But I know that this being the first year of Naxi, I said the other companion pets will sell on the auction house, but Naxi being the first year, there's going to be players that miss out. Either they're not active or they didn't realize there was a new pet. They're going to want this new pet before next Halloween. It's not going to sell for 100,000 gold like you may have seen at first on your auction house. Anywhere from 10 to 20K will be a nice steal for this pet, I think, for a purchase, and it'll be nice, a nice chunk of gold in your pocket. Now, we joked about me asking for companion pets on my last segment, and we joked because it worked. I appreciate everyone that listens to the show, not because you guys gave me pets, but just because you listen, and we have so many of you following or watching, we're able to get virtual tickets and give away things like that. So I really do appreciate the Naxi pet, Alex. I really do appreciate the Fell Lasher Nova and her husband Dusty, who hooked me up with the Fell Lasher, which I'm excited to use.
Did you say Nova?
Nova, yeah.
Nova's my people.
What? I
yeah,
know
that's
Nova
my
people.
She's my people.
Yeah. So she messaged me and she was like, "Hey, my hubby has two. Do you want one?" She's
been like a fan for like all these years, like from I want to say from the very beginning. But yeah, she is the Pwnecast like #1 fan.
Super fan, right? And still hooking us up with pets, right? So, her husband, they didn't want anything in return, and Alex didn't ask for anything either, but I tried to force the Pandaren spirits just to kind of give them back something, when you, it's just good to kind of spread the good juju around, right? So thank you so much for the pet. I did get 2 people respond, one to Rem and one to me directly for the Ghost Shark. I haven't received it yet, but that's okay. There's no rush. Just the fact that people are listening and want to help us out is greatly appreciated. So again, thank you. I guess all I'm missing from last week is the Rebellious Imp. So I will accept. No, I'm just joking. Don't give Jim any more pets. I'll buy that one. But again, thank you so much. So one thing that I forgot, we're changing gear all the time, all these upgrades and the new raids are coming out, and your gear just changes naturally. Don't forget to re-add your shoulder enchant. Jimma did. Jimma has a lot of pet charms, but now that he's been focusing on making all of the pets rare and leveling them up, pet charms are very valuable because it's currency to buy things to make your pets rare and level them up individually with these stones. So just make sure you got your shoulder enchant on. even if you're not huge into pet battles, it's a great way to get your pet charms and other pet treats to give you extra experience. And I've said this in the past, and people know that I will be your personal pet battle trainer. I will help you do anything in game, whether it's as simple as just what pets do I need, or how am I going to defeat the Celestial Tournament. Jimma is one comment, one tweet away. Just message me, message us. We'll help you out. I'll be your personal pet battle trainer. You know what I mean? So I just know that makes pet battles more exciting if you have a heads up of the fun that you could have, or just making sure you're not wasting your time by leveling up pets that aren't going to help you. So things like, if you're a pet collector and you may have heard me buying Dibbler a couple weeks ago for 20,000 gold, and now it's only 8,000 gold. That's not a huge loss, but I really thought Dibbler was going to stay expensive for long. I thought I really had a steal. So Dibbler is the pet from the satchel from Robotron. Oh, I should have wrote that down. The new one in the Gnome starting zone. But Dibbler's down in price. So very short on the pet battle news. I've personally just been leveling up so many more pets and working on my pet score on warcraftpets.com. And good luck to you wanting to win a virtual ticket. I think that's just such a great gift that Blizzard's provided us with. And maybe there'll be more prizes to win later in the show.
What?
Maybe not.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, that's a good thing. That's free stuff. I gave away 2 on my Twitter this week.
The response was huge.
Yeah, the response was great. And I love that I asked for people to post a funny GIF, like post a GIF instead.
Some of them are good.
Yeah, some
really
of them
good.
were quite amazing. So I wish I would have used that as the basis for picking the people versus
random.
There's an ad, not an add-on, but there's a thing for Twitter it pulls it makes sure that they followed and retweeted and all the things, and then it generates it. Rem, what do you got for us today regarding the important lore?
The muy importante lore es Agamar y Argus. And that's all I know in Spanish. But so
Okay.
No sé. So I just want to touch base on the very last part. Not going to do any spoilers, but the deal with Agamar and Argus and what that entails to us. I've spoken many times on the fact that Agamar was destroyed by Sargeras when he first created the Burning Legion, and Sargeras had got a hold of his soul and corrupted him, and he became a fallen titan. I don't know if there's really another word we can call him except just a fallen titan. It's just a corrupted titan, but yeah, so Agamar is going to be fallen titan. We're going to go up against him. It doesn't look like we actually need any help going up against him, which is quite interesting based on the fight mechanics and the way the lore is set out for the actual fight. We'll have Dadgar, Velen, and based on the story, we're just basic champions still, not like Velen level important in terms of the fight up against Agamar. So we're going to need all the help that we can get, even though he is not like the brick wall in our way. He is more of a white picket fence that we can kind of find the gate through or destroy. And so Argus is, because he is a freshly born world soul. I don't know how it works in terms of their power levels, but I would assume they're at their most potential power when they first emerge from being a world soul, because they have all this untapped power. They have unlimited amounts of power that they can use to eradicate things, build things, miscellaneous stuff like that. And I'm hoping we're going to see a lot more backstory and lore into the comings and goings of what it is to be a Titan. because we're going to go up against Argus, and there's no explanations or anything on how he came to be, if it's his avatar, or if it's his full body, or if his body is shuttled somewhere else and they're still able to siphon his power somehow. There's a lot of stuff that they need to reiterate and kind of explain in terms of what it means to be a world soul becoming a titan. And I've theorized that the fact that Argus is all broken apart is because Argus has been broken out of his shell. But we'll see a lot about that, and they'll actually hopefully explain it, or explain it with the Pantheon, and see what we goes on that part. But yeah, Antorus is coming up soon. Based on Belle's theory, 7th or the 14th, which makes a lot of sense based on 732 and all that good stuff. But yeah, the Titans will need to be explained on with the World Soul and all that good stuff. So with Hollow's End, bad segue, but with Hollow's End going on right now, I'll talk a little about the Headless Horseman. Talk about a little bit about the Headless Horseman and who is he, who was he, and why he does what he does. So the Headless Horseman is, as you may well not know, is the reason for Hollow's End. There is quests and lore behind him that honestly I didn't know when I first got into the game. I thought it was just, oh, they pigeonholed something to take the place of the Headless Horseman from Sleepy Hollow and all that good stuff. And so he is actually used to be a paladin, and his name was Thomas Thompson.
Really?
And
that
he was,
sounds like the parents weren't very creative with the name.
well, you know how
Tom?
you know how the last name, like Odin's son Johnson, it just means you're John's son. His dad's name was Thomas, so he's Tom's son.
Oh, I get
So
it.
yeah, it's not creative at all, but I mean, it's just, yeah.
It's Tom.
Yes, Tom. But anyway, his name was Sir Thomas. He was a paladin of the Silver Hand. He actually fought alongside with Uther the Lightbringer and Tyrion and Turallion during the wars. With Scourge. So what happened with Thomas was, like I said, he was with the Silver Hand, and during the Scourge, when Arthas was busy betraying everyone and being in everyone's base and killing people, he was spreading the disease, the plagued grain. And what happened was, while all this was going on, Sir Thomas was battling the undead and stuff that was popping up, and he feared for his family's lives, because this was when Arthas had killed Tyrannus Manethil, and everything was going to shit pretty much. And so this was also the point when Jaina was taking everyone that she could to Kalimdor for the war against the Burning Legion, which we didn't know about at that time. But so Sir Thomas is trying to get his family to leave, and he gets them to leave, and he sends them on the ship. He thinks they're gone for good, so he's going back to the other paladins, and they're fighting. Everything's groovy. Then everything falls to shit, and he joins up with the Scarlet Crusade. And as you may well not know, Scarlet Crusade are not only heretics, but they are fanatics. They are the polar. They are the bad part of the light in terms of how they portrayed it. And Sir Thomas was fighting alongside them, purging the undead, and they were eventually turned into fanatical maniacs, whatever you want to call it, because they were considering any innocent life to already be corrupted by the plague. And like what Arthas did with Strathome and Andorhal and all those different little cities, towns, and all that, he purged the city. They were all innocent. Well, half of them were innocent. The other were already corrupted by the plagued grain. And he purged the city. So Sir Thomas is running along with the Scarlet Crusade, purging all these cities, purging the towns, killing innocents. and he comes upon this family that he slaughters, and he recognizes the faces. He cut down his wife because what happened is there was a storm that crashed her ship, and so they couldn't get any information to him. They couldn't really do anything except hide away in these little towns that weren't affected by the scourge yet. And he killed them because they figured that they were already screwed pretty much. They were already infected by the plague. And so he realizes his mistake. He starts freaking the hell out, and his other guys start bringing him back to their sanctuary, and they lock him up, saying, "Oh, he's fine. He just needs to get over his grief. Everything's good." And he literally goes insane, and they go to let him go to see if he's okay, and everything's all good. And then he starts killing everyone because he's like, everyone is undead. No one can be trusted. And so they lob his head off. And so, as you may or may not know, Balnazar at this time was actually controlling the Scarlet Crusade. At the time, Satan Dothrohan is leading the Scarlet Crusade, and Balnazar is using him as a guise. And so what happens is, when they give him a ceremonial burial, Balnazar puts a spell on him to turn him into a Death Knight. And so he comes back and terrorizes all the populace around them. And so, bad stuff.
Did you say and so bad stuff?
And so bad stuff, yeah. So the whole backstory of Hollow's End is you have the burning of the Wicker Man. You throw something into the fire to not only wash past sins, but to let the past be the past. You burn away it. And
whenever I see a sinner, I set them on fire. That seems logical to me.
I mean, we're all on fire then. Shit.
Basically.
Ricky Bobby.
You ain't lied.
But yeah, so the Headless Horseman was not always just maniacally laughing ghoul. He was actually a honest, by the light, by the code paladin that just fell into madness, pretty much.
Like so many
I
of us.
feel like this is a tale for drugs. Like, this is something that they tell the Azeroth children so that they don't do drugs.
It's possible. Don't do drugs, kids.
This is the house that Crack built.
Not Jack.
Sorry.
But yeah, so with that, with the announcement of the whole Virtue Ticket thing, thanks to Blizzard, much love, respect, all...
A-Town down? Just kidding. It felt like that was an appropriate time to use that because I've always wanted to say that, but then I'm feeling like the nerds at home are like, what'd she just say?
I don't understand. But so JimmaBanks is doing his through the YouTube. I will do mine through the Twitters.
So you mean to say you're each giving away a virtual ticket?
Surprise! What? First we're in a blender, now we're saving lives? What? But so, yeah, we're gonna go through, do it through Twitter. All you have to do is follow JimmaBanks, follow Pwnecast, follow Belle Pwnecast. Just kidding. No, so
he's joking, guys. Just make sure you follow at Remedies because he's the one you need to follow for this one.
Yeah, you should make sure to follow all of us because JimmaBanks doesn't really use Twitter, but he's funny sometimes on there. Mostly his Snapchats.
Yo.
But no, all you got to do is follow me at Remedies_Pwnecast. And then at some point, tweet to me the hashtag Antaurus awaits. Keep it relevant with the current Antaurus things going on. Yeah, hashtag Antaurus awaits.
Post a nice comment. Don't just tweet hashtag Antaurus waits. Which
tell me. I
have a graphic here. Hashtag Antaurus awaits is what you need to be hashtagging to Rem. So tweet to Rem hashtag at Antor or hashtag Antaurus awaits and say something you are looking forward to.
Yeah, say something looking forward to. Tell me a punny joke, something.
I feel like you'd enjoy the punny joke the most.
I would.
Remedies and Jimma will be picking their winners on Wednesday. Remedies will announce his winner via Twitter, so that's why it's important that you follow so that we can connect with the DMs. And then Jimma will be
replying to your
replying
YouTube
on the
comment.
YouTube, and when he replies to the winner on YouTube, please make sure you include your
Notifications, yeah.
he's going to ask you for your email so that we can email you, and then Rem will get with you guys in a DM for the winner. So Wednesday's the day. It'll probably be super late in the evening just because we work, so it'll probably be super late in the evening on Wednesday, but you guys have I feel like Wednesday's not enough. I'm kind of feeling like we should do it Thursday, because this doesn't go out till Tuesday. I keep thinking it goes out much. So maybe Thursday, guys. Thursday is going to be the day. So we'll give some additions. Do you agree with that, Jimma? Thursday?
Yeah, that's great. It gives more people a chance
Thursday.
to enter.
Thursday at 6:05.
Yeah, we'll do it super late on Thursday night to give everybody the opportunity, and I'll blast this all over. So Rem's giving away one. Jimma's giving away one. For Jimma's, you need to comment. Post a comment. What did you tell them to comment?
Anything they want.
Oh,
whatever's
anybody.
in their heart. Maybe what they want to see in Legion. Maybe what they like for the virtual ticket.
Preferably put in your comment that you are entering in the virtual ticket, because a lot of people comment that won't need the virtual ticket. So preferably
good call.
Put the reason you want the virtual ticket. Give Jimma the reason you want. What are you looking forward to watching? Do you want to watch the cosplayers? Do you want to watch? So if you put that in your comment, we'll know that you want to be entered into that.
I like that. That's a good point.
And the hashtag for Rems again was hashtag and Taurus awaits. For those of you that are listening on iTunes, I did a nice little hashtag and Taurus awaits over here. Remember, if you don't hashtag, you're not going to be entered in. So
hashtag show us your piggy.
What?
Just joking.
God
I
dang
can't believe
it.
I brought that back.
Damn it, guys.
I can't look at Wilbur the same way anymore.
Pigs in a blanket are just not the same.
Pigs in a blanket are like bees in a trap.
Oh.
Let the bees in the trap.
Okay, so with that, guys, get hyped. 2 tickets. 2 virtual
That's
tickets.
crazy.
That's excitement.
Very much so.
So I actually have a Belle's Bites.
Yes.
So I did this video with Zaru on Method's YouTube channel. I had Zaru on there because he does most of the PvP stuff. I'd never actually had a conversation with a high-level PvPer before.
Talked to JimmaBanks and I.
Like, we had a good conversation before we even did the recording. And I want to talk about some goals that I'm going to be setting for myself for the new expansion, praying to Jeebus that they fix some of the things that are not right with PvP. But I had this conversation with him, and I just realized how different high-level experience is to scrubs like me, right? No, in the things that they care about even. It is so different that my perspective is not from their perspective whatsoever. They are on a whole different, not even like up here status, just the things that matter to them that you would think would matter because they matter to us. No. So in this conversation, it made me realize that I have to get better. Not a better PvPer. I don't care about that. And my skill level has nothing to do with on my understanding of the game, or my understanding of PvP, or my understanding of strategy, or my understanding of class, or strengths and weaknesses when it comes to current PvP. It just made me realize that I don't consider all perspectives when it comes to me having conversations on the show about PvP, and I need to get better about that. Doesn't mean I have to go run 20 million arenas for me to understand what arena players feel. It helps, yes, but I'm going to be making it my goal to infiltrate all aspects of PvP and not just the aspects of PvP that are important to me, and start putting myself in the what is important to everyone. So that means watching streamers that are on different levels of PvP, maybe some that do it casually, maybe some that do it more serious. My job over the end of this expansion, beginning of next expansion, is to have a better understanding all the way around of how PvP is affected by certain things, how class affects, pruning affects, the changes that are made, the repercussions that happens when they do serious things to PvP, that somebody like me, who in the very beginning of the expansion, it wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't see all the issues with the changes that were being made. Then I sit down and have this conversation with Zaru. Although I don't agree with everything that he said, a lot of his stuff made sense, and they were things that I never really considered. So one of the things that he talked about, and I wanted to get a good conversation going for my PvPers, and I wanted to find out your guys' perspective. So one of the things that he talked about is the adaptation and relentless option for the honor talents, right? I don't know if the honor talents are going to be forever and all the things PvP, or if those are going to be revamped, but he talked about that being the first row going against a trinket. This was the same thing that I had pre-Legion when we found out about these honor talents. Was the same thing I said. I don't know if you would want to choose adaptation and relentless as opposed to being able to control your trinket in certain PvP situations, mainly in arenas. When it comes to arenas, you want to be able to control your trinket, because at the end of the day, if you don't have no control over when it procs, like a relentless procs, or adaptation just does a blanket lessened CC time, sometimes you being able to trinket can make or break the win or loss of a match. It could be that simple within a millisecond, that being able to do that or not being able to do that, or if you take relentless or adaptation because it's lesser CC or whatever the case may be, versus having, 2-minute cooldown for your trinket. Especially in an arena, you're not going to use your trinket twice in most cases, not with how fast paced the arenas are, unless it's two equal crappy teams. But he talked about, that needs to be looked at again. And I agree with that completely. And one of the other things that we talked about was racials. How high of an impact racials have on PvP in there being no difference in PvP. Everybody's an orc, or everybody's a blood elf, or everybody's a troll, or everybody's a whatever for the whatever racial. Previously, it was everybody was a human because the racial. Then they changed the racial to make it not so sought after, so that they could balance the scales a little bit. Then everybody went horde. He talked about removing those racials. Now, I've been thinking about this since he mentioned it, and I thought, he's got a good point with removing those racials. But then I thought, maybe not remove the racials, but maybe make it where each racial is equal in its appeal. Right, where each one is as equal as the other one, so that people could have more customization. Maybe they get an option. Maybe for PvP, you get the choice of one or two racials. Maybe they let you have two options where you could, would fall into the sub-race category, possibly. Don't really know what I mean there, but I've been thinking about this a lot over the last few weeks. I don't ideally like removing things from the game. I like it when they just improve upon the system that's already put in there. So I feel like I wouldn't necessarily agree with removing of the racials, but perhaps changing the way that racials matter in PvP or work in PvP. Maybe giving us a couple of options to choose from in character creation, where you can choose taking from the Netherlight Crucible a dark and a light path. Not necessarily that same thing, but the concept is the same. Maybe you could have a defensive or an offensive, or you know what I mean, like you would get the choice of your racial. I do think that would be a strong consideration, and I wish that I would have thought about this when I did the video with him, but it was really as me thinking over this last week about different things that I would like to see in PvP, especially with this week being my all-time favorite brawl, which was the Packed House. I missed being able to do it with the boys because I had stuff I had to do, but I did shirk some work responsibility and was in there doing some Packed House today. It was bad. Alliance was losing all over the board. But it was really fun. I had fun, and that is all that matters. I had fun, and at the end of the day, that really is all that matters. But I don't like them removing so many things, because look at all of the stuff that we've lost in PvP. One is Zara's points, which has been my point. I'm going to say it's my point because it hasn't been, it was my point before. It was his point in relation to the show. I have been saying that they went balls to the wall when it comes to the gear not mattering. So they said we don't want gear to matter as much, but instead of balancing that, we decided to make it basically useless. The gear doesn't do a whole lot for you except add versatility to your stats. It doesn't really do a whole lot for you because it's not that big of a deal anymore. Why did we have to go through that such serious change? Maybe PvP should matter. Maybe they should fix the templates in duels and whatever. And maybe you should have to have a full separate set of PvP gear versus I could go in there with my gear and they'll scale it down, of course, but I mean, if you don't have it, it should matter. If you're going up against people that are fully PvP geared and you're not, it should matter. You should feel the weight of not having that gear. You shouldn't be able to go in with the gear that you have on and just completely decimate. Even as a melee, you shouldn't be able to go in and decimate somebody that's got a good portion of their PvP gear. I just think that that's extremely losing touch with reality on what PvP should be. Now, once again, the point that was made by Zaro, and I keep crediting him because I don't want anybody thinking that I'm stealing his ideas, but the point that he had made is, they wanted to make it easy for everyone to PvP. While I agree it should be easy for people to step into PvP, do I think we should be making it easy for people to PvP? No more than I think we make it easy for people to raid. I think that we approach PvP not in the same fashion as raiding, and I think that that's where lies the problem. We make players work for things in raid. Why don't we make them work for it in PvP? It's the same. There's a lot of PvPers who don't raid. You haven't dumbed down raids outside of LFR to allow for a casual to come in and do a mythic raid. You haven't made it super easy for a casual PvPer who's never done a raid in their life to be able to join heroic. I mean, there's differences here where I think we see PvP as an afterthought, and I really want to see it a forethought. Now, my hope here is that with the esports thing, right, they're making PvE better with the esports because they're adding to the mythic pluses and they're making that better, and they're having that thought process in mind when it comes to their development here. And I really need to see this happen for the PvP stuff. Now, guys, I've spent the entire expansion trying to really make myself love it again, and it's been heartbreaking internally because I went through a lot of stuff in Draenor, right? I went through a lot of things in Draenor when it came to PvP. I was refreshed at the beginning of the expansion only to find out that the system was still broken and that I wasn't happy with the system with PvP. And I tried, because we have a show and my segment revolves around PvP, to really just play the part, but I'm not being authentic if I'm pretending to PvP, or if I'm pretending to love it, I'm not being authentic. So in that, part of what I would like to get conversations going is ways that you think that they can improve PvP with the next expansion. I want to know what my PvPers feel and think when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I'd like to see you guys comment. We've asked for a lot of comments and various different things. I hope we should be flooded with freaking comments this episode. But I really want to know what you guys think and how you feel that we can fix some of the things that are broken in PvP. I talked about Prestige, and a couple of you made some good points on Prestige. I was probably approaching it from the wrong standpoint. It wouldn't matter if it's account bound because it takes no skill to get. And somebody named Boston pointed that out to me, and he was absolutely right. Your man. He was absolutely right. I didn't consider the fact that initially you had to make the decision to prestige and lose your talents, right? So it was a skill in a sense because you had to work for that, and it was double the honor that you had to get for that level. So it was a little bit of a grind. So there, it wouldn't have needed to be get that player experience, as Ian had said in the latest Q&A. So I want to thank Boston, because I wouldn't have thought, he'd made a perfect point of it doesn't take skill. And the whole argument for not being able to have that account bound is because it's not skill based. Why I still don't think Prestige should be account bound, but I have my own other reasons for why I don't think that should be a thing. I do understand that Prestige didn't take no skill. And that's another one of my gripes. And now here's the thing. Some of you are going to say, but Belle, it doesn't hurt anything to keep that in there. You're right. It doesn't hurt anything. It's not hurting anybody by putting it in there. I say this all the time. If you don't like it, don't use it. Simple. It's really easy. You can ignore the thing that is causing you grief in game. It's not that big of a deal. Prestige is fine to just stay there. They don't need to do anything with it. But I really think they do, because it offers no reward. There's literally no... when I say no reward, there's no value. There's no value there. It didn't add any value whatsoever, except it gave players a reason to do a thing. But there was no value added, and I feel like if you're going to add something like that, there should be a value to it. So I would like them to reevaluate their prestige situation, and I would like them to reevaluate whether or not necessarily to keep it, but how they can improve it and make it better. And I get Blizzard has a lot on their plate with trying to make everybody happy. They can't make everybody happy, and I get that. There's so many different versatile players with different opinions and different things that they would like to see, but PvP as a whole, the system, I don't want to use the term broken, but the system is heartbreaking the way that the current system is. The PvP is never going to be balanced, guys. We know this. Casters, clothies are always going to get wrecked by melee. I just would like to stay alive for 5 minutes. I just would like to be in a match where I can hold my own against a melee class and stay alive for longer than 2 seconds. I would love to be able to get a Chaos Bolt off before I'm literally 2-shot after I'm stuck in a back-to-back fucking stun with a warrior. I don't want to be more powerful than a warrior. I don't want to be more powerful than a DK, because those, by nature, you should fear those classes, right? When it comes to going up against them as a warlock or as a squishy, you should fear that to a certain degree, especially when it's a one-on-one situation. You're not cushioned by a 10-15 man battleground. You should fear that. I don't fear that when I'm in a battleground, because I have other people to cushion my fall, other people that they can focus target on, and I can kind of hide and do my thing. But you should fear certain classes, because I think that that's what makes it amazing. However, I should not get anxiety doing PvP because I know if I see a warrior or a demon hunter in that group that I know I'm not going to have a fun time, because I'm going to spend the whole game dead. There is something wrong with the system where that is by design what is happening. That is what is happening, because that's how I felt and that's how it's been. Not everybody is going to have my experience, and some people are going to say, but I don't have that problem and I'm a mage. That's great for you, and my fucking hat's off to you if you don't have that problem, but I do. I have that problem. Unless I have the cushion of other people, I struggle. Now, on a one-on-one situation, I'm gonna die, guys. Like, I'm gonna die. Unless it's a baddie. If it's a baddie warrior, I can kill him. If it's a baddie demon hunter, I could totally kill him. But a straight up one-on-one, I don't even know how to... I mean, I can survive. I'm a warlock. So when I say die, I'm being super dramatic here, guys. But I'm not doing much damage because I'm spending the whole time trying to stay alive. So I'm not really, like, getting their health down or doing anything. And I might get their health down and almost kill them by the time they finish me off completely, because I can't out-heal whatever damage is being done. So these are some of the things that have... And I wanted to address this with you guys because a lot of people had said, hey, I don't hear you talk about PvP that much. Guys, it's been rough. It's been rough as a content creator. It's been rough as a podcaster, and it's been rough as a WoW fan to admit that you hate something that was once the only thing that you really cared about in game. To admit that you raid instead of PvP because you needed something to do in game, because the one thing that you loved, little by little by little, was just changed. I don't want to say broke or destroyed, guys. It was changed. They didn't break anything per se. It's changed, and that's really the issue here. So if anybody at Blizzard listens or watches, I just want to see you make PvP relevant again, because I feel like if we continue the way that we're going, we're not going to have PvP the way that it is. I cannot imagine having not half of my people that I love for PvPers to watch at BlizzCon and to hear about their record breaks and their glad status and their ladders and all of that. I can't imagine not having those players because they're sick of the way that the game is. So with that, was the other perspective of talking with Zaru just made me realize that even in my little guy perspective, I was right in how I felt. And I had been making it okay for these changes. I had been saying, well, it's fine, guys, quit complaining. Like, I had been making these bad changes okay because I wasn't seeing it from all sides. So with that being said, yeah, that's my little Belle's Bites. Sorry if that was like super deep, but it is.
No, it's one of the more elegant ways you put. I liked what you said about the rating, right? They don't dumb down rating. Why would you try to dumb down PvP when it's so elaborate?
The way that they dumb down is they did LFR. Well, we have LFG. We have Q Finder for Battlegrounds. You know what I mean? Like, for the rest of the stuff for PvP, I think they need to balance it better when it comes to high end, low end, or casuals, or trying to get other people to experience things. I just think it's crappy that PvP kind of got the shaft this. I think they thought they were doing really nice things with the prestige, and they were like, yes, but that was really just to misdirect. I'm going to use the word misdirect again because I feel like that we've did a little bit of misdirecting this expansion with the true issues it's like they frosted one part so that we wouldn't notice this other part. And I get that. Maybe they weren't ready to attack it. Maybe Holinka, maybe they brought in somebody that's really going to change the game, right? I don't know who took over for Holinka, but maybe somebody who's connected to the player base. And I think that's what everybody's hope is with, nothing was wrong with Holinka. I just think when you're in something long enough, it's very difficult you to stay connected to the player base, because nobody tells you to your face that you fucking suck, that the last changes you just made were fucking horse shit. Nobody tells you that to your face. They tell you on Twitter behind a keyboard because they're afraid. Nobody goes up to your face. Like the senior developer who was in charge of making sure that Holinka's staff was doing what the players wanted or needed. I'm not going to say wanted, I'm going to say needed, because this isn't about what all the players want per se. It's what we need when it comes to our PvP experience. So because you can want in one hand, shit in the other, and see which one fills up faster. So it's not necessarily a want, it's a need at this point. But I don't think anybody ever actually told anybody that was in charge, like, hi, maybe you should not do this, or maybe this isn't for the betterment. But since Ian is at the helm of all things, I am hoping that he will be able to see the vision. I'm hoping for a new generation of, not just for PvE or PvP stuff. This is for all stuff, guys. I don't just mean, I mean forever. Maybe we're gonna, a new generation of people is what I'm looking forward to. Because we've lost some old time people in charge at Blizzard because they've gone to this new mobile RTS project that they're working on. So now's the time, if we're gonna invoke, you know, some things that players need from a PvP or PvE perspective. I hope that wasn't too long, guys. I apologize. I've been rewatching old episodes, and I have not been as thought out and explanatory as I normally am. I've been letting these guys do a lot of, you know, letting them take over with their segments, and my stuff's been less because people tell me I talk too much, so I've been letting them, like, no, but I've been trying to, like, give you guys the room to be able to grow. But in watching, like, the last couple months of stuff, the things that I brought to the table I wasn't normally doing. I was kind of like, I was putting a lid on some of that stuff, and I felt like I needed to just be, although somebody, guys, my friend on Twitter, he knows who he is. He messaged me and said that, I don't remember how we came about, but Pwnecast was mentioned, and people were like, yeah, Pwnecast is great, except for the Dreadlord running the show. And I said, why am I so hated? Here's what's weird about me being hated. No, here's what's weird about me being hated, guys. I'm the reason Pwnecast is here. Like, I've been here from the very beginning. 3 years ago, these two guys weren't here. How can you love the show but hate the person that made the show? That's really, like, I don't understand that. You love the show, but you hate the person that's the reason the show exists. I think
you're just taking it like...
It did hurt my feelings. You know why? Because when you compare me to the Dreadlord, it kind of makes me laugh. Like, it's funny to me. And I laughed and just said, they're not the first ones to say they hate me. A lot of people don't like me, and it's because I'm a strong-headed individual and I have very, very strong opinions one way or the other. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. They just are my opinions. So then I said, maybe I'll start being less, you know, passionate about what I'm saying or how I feel. And he was like, no, don't change. And I'm like, no, I don't want to change. But anyway, I thought that was funny. I figured you guys would get a kick out of the Dreadlord.
I did, actually.
The Dreadlord comment.
Very much so.
Guys, my feelings don't get hurt anymore. My feelings don't get hurt because I do what I love every day, and there are people that love us and there are people that don't love us, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to be everybody's in their fave five, and that's okay.
Don't worry. I was shocked to find out that some people don't like me. I thought everyone did.
Guys are my top
I think everybody likes you, don't they?
I thought I had 100% approval rating. This is not the case. I've been looking at the numbers.
Somebody doesn't like you? I haven't seen one person ever be negative to you on the YouTube channel. They don't tell you to go to the kitchen and make a sandwich, so.
Because they know I make a bomb-ass sandwich and I'm too lazy to make them one, so.
And Rem doesn't get bad comments except his ums and his us.
Yeah.
If he was a Pokemon, he'd be an Umbreon.
A year from now, that'll be the thing of the past. A long time ago, and I still get in the bad habit sometimes when I'm really tired or nervous. I say so a lot, but I've worked really hard to clip that down.
But don't be hard on yourself. We all go through funks,
I'm
and
not
hard. You're not.
I mean, awkward. I'm not really. I am who I am. It just is what it is.
You're passionate and
I was born this way.
Good and bad comments towards the show or us or you are important.
It's the internet. It's the internet. The internet is where trolls live, guys. It's okay. Everybody's going to have an opinion. And really, if you're talking about me, whether it's good or bad, you're still talking about me, and that's okay. While they may say I'm the Dreadlord, you still know who I was. So,
but on that note of not liking you, but liking Pwnecast. I love Star Wars, but I can't stand George Lucas.
Okay, you're right. I could see. That makes a lot of sense. I could
Oh.
see. And you know what? For those of you who don't like me, that's okay. Keep watching so you can watch The Boys, and I'm okay with that. We don't have to love each other, guys. We don't have to love each other. This is a relationship that is not built on all of us liking each other, meaning those that listen or watch not liking me but liking these guys. I think that's totally fine. I'm okay with
Well,
that.
you might not have looked at
Relationship.
the numbers recently, but you have a very high approval rating as well.
Do I have an approval
And
rating?
most of the comments are directed towards the Dreadlord and not the angel and the devil on your shoulders.
I think it's because
Gemini.
I think it's just because I do most of the responding.
Yeah,
I
correct.
think that's all the only reasons I do most of the responding.
You literally see everything that's been written. You get a lot of feedback from all angles, right? The show's a hit. People are all in.
The phones are ringing and people are asking.
Ring ring Shanaphone.
That's
Can't
like my
wait.
favorite. I know people don't know what I mean when I say that, but I used to work for this company before I worked where I work now, and I would hear their commercial come on in my car, and the commercial was so cheesy. It's like, our phones are ringing and people are asking, and I'm like, seriously? Your phones aren't even fucking ringing. I'm sitting right here, not one ring.
The show is running and people are watching.
Right,
Leave a comment.
people are watching. To that end, guys, it's about that time to talk about the week in WoW. Jimma, what did you do this week in the wonderful world of Warcraft?
Well, part of it was I did some research for my segment and then didn't talk about it when I wasn't paying attention earlier in the show. Apologize. The Day of the Dead or the Dawn of the Dead? Day of the Dead? Where'd you go?
It's Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead,
Dawn of the
November
Dead?
1st to the 3rd, and you can get your Macabre marionette pet. You probably already have one. They're in the auction house, extremely low cost, but it's a cool skeleton undead pet, right? Cool. Didn't mention
How
that.
many skeletons do you have in your closet?
That's coming. 4. In my week in WoW, I received gifts from viewers. Thank you. I bought 4 G-Kun hatchlings. I went crazy. I saw them on the auction house, $16K a piece. I bought all 4 of them. So if you want to buy one, I've got them for sale. I did the PvP brawl with the homie Ram and a couple people from the guild. That was fun. I got another bottle cap from the Dead Mines, and I wanted to buy, because I've got 2 bottle caps. You buy pets. There's 3 total. But I'm going to hold off. I'm going to be like, I pictured Belle's voice in my head saying, don't give in, save and get the better pet next week. So that's what I'm going to do. Belle's voice in my head. Thank you. And I also leveled a lot of pets. That's right. Jimma leveled pets, and it wasn't the bonus event. Jim's getting back to the roots. He's getting back to the love of the companion pets, and he's coming for the top 10 spot for Argent Dawn. Okay? I'm a serious collector. And the people,
Why not the world?
I'm coming for them too. There's people on the server and in the world that are ahead of me by pet score, not by pet collection. But I'm coming for you. I'm going to adapt. Just like Belle adapted to the PvP world, or she's gonna, I'm going to adapt, and I'm coming for heads. So I leveled a lot of pets, and that was my week in WoW.
That sounds like you're looking to buy piggies, so...
Nope, but I can find you a piggy because they're all over the market. I'll get you one cheaper than 45K gold, okay?
Rem?
Whoa.
Whoa. Yeah, that got too real.
I just did a lot of miscellaneous stuff as well. Catching up on the artifact levels. Because the raid requires level 66, I hit level 66 and I took a break from farming AP again. I burnt through it and I got it, and I'm taking a break, and not like taking a break, but taking a break from all the AP farming per se. Yeah, no, it's just a lot of keeping up maintenance around the tunes and getting stuff ready. Did the packed house like JimmaBanks said. We did it with who was it? It was Ella
Ellen Murky.
else. Murky, yes. No, it was really fun. It was AIDS for the Alliance, but it was still fun. Just because it's chaos, it's a good kind of chaos. Yeah, a lot of miscellaneous stuff this week. Pretty much just getting in the mindset for BlizzCon, getting ready for that,
Oh, man.
taking it easy in game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not get a whole lot of game time this week because it's the crunch time for BlizzCon. I did do I did some emissary stuff. I did some PvP, obviously packed house. But I haven't had a whole lot of, I log on, I'm kind of AFK. So I just kind of hang out there while I'm multitasking on the computer, but I AFK so that like the guild sees my presence. I have a Halloween event happening this weekend on Sunday for the guildies to have them do costumes in game for their tunes, and I'm giving away some game time. Well, the gold equivalent to buying game time.
Dang, that's a lot of gold.
I know, Jimmy, you should get on my level and go get a costume in games.
How do you know I don't already have one?
Okay, you're right. I don't. But I wanted to do something since I always feel bad because I spend a week away from the guild. I wanted to do a nice event.
That sounds like a fun one.
To tell the kids, to tell the
maybe
the guild I love them.
I might be overstepping my boundary here, but you could maybe take some screenshots of some of them and show them next week. Holy shit, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna be recording it also.
Boom.
Yeah, we like to do that kind of stuff. I think it helps give other guild masters different ideas that they could do. So, yeah.
Just more gifts to the world you're doing. I like it.
And my game time just has not been as much as I would like, but that's just the nature of things with the crunch for BlizzCon. After BlizzCon, it's going to be so great because my job during the holidays is very low key. So during like the spring, which we don't really have a spring, but like from May to like right now, my job's pretty crazy because for what I do, large companies are preparing for the holidays because it's all internet stuff. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of work that I do, but the holidays, the companies have already prepped and prepared for all of their holiday stuff that they're going to be doing. So my needs are just implementation wise is just coasting off support. I don't have much implementation work to do, so it's good for me because that means I get more game time during the day because I have nothing to do but just stare at my computer, so I get to actually do some game stuff. So November through January is the fun time for me, and I'll be taking some time off from work just so that I could just enjoy doing the end of expansion stuff, pulling other alts through, getting achievements, maybe doing the mage tower stuff on some of my alts that I'm efficient at, and that kind of thing. So yeah, not a whole lot of stuff, but guys, we are going to be at BlizzCon next week. We're going to have the show on Monday. And then the week after, I think we'll come back and we'll do the show on Thursday. So you guys are going to go a little bit of length of time without the show, and you're going to have to acclimate to a new day. It's going to be Fridays instead of Mondays for Friday morning for that. And then sometime after BlizzCon, we'll actually go back live on Twitch on Thursday nights once we get that worked out as well. So probably I would venture to say around December. I'm hoping maybe.
But that's crazy for the viewers, right? Like most of them are already happy. It's Friday, their weekend's happening, and they get a Pwnecast episode.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys are okay with that. I know that a lot of you like to listen to us Mondays for your morning commute, but at least this way we get to like ease you into your weekend.
How can they listen to us on their commute on Monday? That's crazy.
I mean Tuesdays, sorry. But now we get to end the week with you. And you get to have us in your ear while you're driving home on your last day of work if you work the weekdays and have the weekends off. So I think next week we'll have Monday, and then the following week, which is the week of BlizzCon, we will have the week after BlizzCon. So we'll have the show on the 30th, and then we will not have a show November 6th. We'll instead have a show November 9th, which means it'll be available for you November 10th. Then once we pull the Band-Aid off on the 1 week with the longer in between, it's going to be all right. It's going to work out. But I'm really excited because I would like to be less tired for show day. So I think that would work out just a lot better for all of us involved, I hope.
It's definitely going to be nice having that Monday to actually recoup after BlizzCon. So.
Well, and just Mondays in general are really just crappy all the way around, especially with me for work. And I'm just so bloody tired. So I'm excited about that. Guys, what a great show we had. I feel like we had a really good show. I feel like we were all kind of on point
Giving the people 2+ hours.
I think so. Well, I've done a lot of watching of shows to find out the content change. There has been a shift in the content, and a lot of it is on my part, guys. I have not been providing the normal stuff that you guys are used to me providing, and I apologize. I've gotten lazy, and that will not be happening again. But I've watched the content on the episodes, and I've figured out that a lot of it's probably my fault. So, yeah, I'm doing my part, guys. You're not going to get lazy out of me anymore. You're going to get my 150%.
I find watching the old episodes is torture, not in a negative way, but like you just start critiquing. Like I used to do the same thing. It's good to know, but I feel like you'll just beat yourself up.
Sometimes we burn out and we don't know we burned out. Because I don't know how to burn out. I don't do those that burnout is not in my nature. But sometimes we don't know that that's what we're doing, and we don't
burn out in my car.
But we don't realize that we're just going through the motions for viewership's sake or for consistency's sake. Sometimes we forget that we need to reignite the fire. So hopefully I can continue to bring that, because that could also be, I don't know what I was going to say.
We thought Belle's Bites was great. Get your ass into the arena and let's get it kick-started. Blizzcon train. Woo woo.
That's so bizarre, everything he just said.
Right? How bizarre. How
guys,
bizarre.
We are at the... We done, guys. Like
We done.
I think we're on 2 hours. I don't know. We started the show early this night.
Oh, the people got 2 hours. They got 2
Did they get 2 hours? Guys, make sure Thursday night, be watching the YouTube channel. If you're doing Jimma's event, and make sure you comment. If you're doing Remedy's event, make sure you hashtag to Remedies. So you need to hashtag on Twitter to Remedies. So you want to do @Remedies_Pwnecast. And then you want to be like, hey dude, I love your band. Hashtag and Taurus awaits. That's going to be how you're going to do that one. Now, yes, you can enter both. One person can enter both. That is not...
Belle wasn't going to let it happen.
I will not let...
For the listeners.
Randomness will happen here with the selection, so they will be random. However, I will not allow the same person to win 2 codes. So if that ends up being a thing, they'll pick another. But it will be random. So, guys,
complimenting me gets you far.
Or an STD, guys. You decide. You decide what it gets you, because it
You
could
instantly get one. Like, what the hell just happened?
It could be one or the other. It could be one or the other. That's so weird.
So itchy.
Guys, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you so much for giving us your hour and a half, 2 hours every week. If you're new to Pwnecast, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on everything going on here at Pwnecast and the world beyond. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this show, give us a thumbs up. Why? Because you love us. We get good views, but then the thumbs up don't really reflect that. I know you guys are there. Somebody give us a thumbs up. Last week we had 3 dislikers. Guys, who are you? Shout out to the guy who said these 2 are the ones disliking the videos, because that's awesome.
Wouldn't that be so funny if Rem and I were just so bitter? Yeah.
That's amazing.
The secret's out of the bag now.
The cat's out of the bag.
Secret cat. It's all the same.
We're
Secret needs to shave.
Piggies
I've
out of
seen
the
him on
bag.
the internet.
No,
He needs
he's
to
growing a beard and cooking meat. Every day he cooks a different type of meat on the grill. Today he cooked bacon wrapped hot dogs and tri-tip, because that's...
I wonder where he got that idea from.
Listen, he posted... Oh, yeah! I forgot when I did... Oh, God, those hot dogs were so good.
He's going to be chubby. He has not been hitting the gym. Not that there's anything wrong with that, listeners. But
Maybe he does manual labor.
Sauce is putting on the weight.
What the fuck is manual, and why is he doing labor?
Right?
Is that not appropriate to talk about? I feel like it might be.
Manuel?
Oh, my.